JC, also known as Keys. I am broadcasting from my backup channel, United News Now, because um, I'm on punishment again. YouTube always put me on punishment. They ain't like one of the videos I just put up. So I am gonna be on here with John Felix shortly. I'm checking my messages to make sure I sent out all the links. My friend Chris Powers is going to be joining us. Maybe Rights Crispy will show up. I'm sending John Felix the link now. Hopefully, he'll pop in shortly. He's only got a few minutes, but I wanted to really discuss with him one of our earlier arguments about police making too much money. You know what? I don't want to get into it early, but the fact is, YouTube is shutting guys like me down. I got the backup channel. I am able to broadcast live. I'm going to keep putting out content. I already had a couple in the stash before they shut me down. So it's not like they're going to be able to stop me. I'll miss two posts. Friday and Saturday, I won't be able to post on PNN. I might not be able to post Monday. In 90 days, it'll be cleared up. But, and I'll be able to post again next week on PNN. But until then, if you want your content, you'll have to come here. I will be posting my regular videos here. I'm going to keep the hidden content hidden because that's only for my UNN or my New Eden Group subscribers. So y'all don't get that. Let me see. Let me get back onto my StreamYard control panel, see who showed up yet. Nobody showed up yet. So I got the link out there. They might not show. I only got two. I got two people watching. That's how UNN. I put the backup out there a while ago, and it's still struggling for subscribers. It hasn't even hit 1,000 yet. My boy Chris Powers just showed up.
Hey.
How you doing, man?
Doing all right for a Wednesday.
So earlier I was discussing with him. John Felix hasn't showed up yet. I'm gonna keep an eye for him. Earlier I was discussing with Chris about some of the changes in my platform. Chris, could you basically tell them what you told me about the most wonderful and masterful slogan that I've ever heard in my life?
Are we talking about for the campaign, or what are we talking about?
Yeah, for the presidential campaign.
I said what I believe should be the slogan here is a vote for me is a vote for none of the above.
I love it. Yes, that is what I'm talking about. I've got. Well, hold up. I got some comments. I gotta go back and check out my comments. That's all you guys. All right, so I'm gonna put this banner up. If somebody wants to join in, they can. I'm waiting for John Felix to show up. Last time we had a debate on the way to the casino. We was driving around when I was in Florida, and we went to the casino, and we just decided to have a conversation. It was awesome because John Felix is a guy who really doesn't separate his belief systems and his personality traits. He is one guy. He believes one thing. He disagreed with me. He thinks that cops make too little money. What do you think?
He thinks that cops, your audio is a little like digitized at the moment. I don't know if it's the same for everybody else, but it is for me. You're saying that he said that cops make too little money?
Yes.
Absolutely not. Being married to a teacher, I believe cops should make less and teachers should make more. That's my personal.
I love it. That's absolutely true. Oh, you know what? Hold up.
Oh, agree, disagree text? What's that about? That's cool.
Oh, that's my banner. In case somebody wants to agree with me or disagree with me. How's my audio, by the way? Is it better?
Yeah.
So in case somebody wants to jump on the stream, they can. If they want to pose the theory or whatever, if they want to say that I'm crazy, they're welcome to jump on and say that I'm crazy. I'm all about saying things.
We know you're crazy. Is that up for debate? I didn't know that was up for debate. We're all a little crazy.
So I believe that the police, they make too much money. I think that a reduction in salaries for the police would not only help us economically because it cuts down on our what they call it, a deficit, but it also allows us to weed out people who are going into these jobs for the wrong reason. You should not be getting into public service if you want to be rich. Period. Point blank. If you need to take care of a family of seven, you probably shouldn't become a cop.
Right. Well, unfortunately, that's the same for teachers nowadays too. And I hate to keep going back to that, but it's close to my heart. So, um, you know, I don't know a single. I know a lot of teachers, but I don't know a single teacher that's there for the money. And they've been told by their parents, by their siblings, by coworkers that unless you have the heart for it, you need to step away because you're not going to make it. Every teacher I know has a second job. So, um, you know, I'm so emotional and so passionate about that topic. The people who are incarcerating us for bullshit should not be making more than the people who are teaching us how to survive and be. And it's fucked up, man. It's just terrible. What is this? Pennsylvania. Teachers and education are one of the most important issues for our country and economy now and in the future. Absolutely.
Did I ever tell you how I got started in activism?
If you did, my memory is such that you might as well tell me again.
Back in the day when I was in college, I was a young buck. I used to drive the city limo just like I do now. And I sat next to a teacher one day. And I was on my way to biology class. And I get to talking with her and we get to talking about her salary. I don't know how, don't ask me. But she ends up basically telling me that she got a master's degree and she making 20 grand a year, less than 20 grand a year. And I'm sitting there like, what? No, that can't be right. So I did some research and found out that's exactly what it is. And I originally started my first nonprofit was raising money for teachers. Teachers deserve more money. What's wrong with y'all? And
Right.
nobody cared. Nobody cared. Didn't go nowhere. You ever seen, there was this story on this show called Sliders once back in the day, where like, how like football players, NBA players, superstars, they all making all kinds of money. Well, it was reversed in this parallel dimension. Teachers were the ones that were the superstars making all the money. And if you were a football star, you were scraping by.
Yeah.
You were a football star. And but I don't understand. Like, we think we're a evolved society. We think that we're the pinnacle of human existence, and we're still paying football players what we should be paying teachers. Come on.
Yeah, politicians. I agree with your philosophy that if if congressmen and politicians made less and cops made less, that would weed out the people who aren't there to be a public servant.
Well, John Felix is of the mind that if we lower the value, the dollar value that we put into these people, that we're going to lower the quality of people that we get. I couldn't disagree more, but what do you think?
I'd rather put, if we're going to have an inflated budget for police, I'd rather have it go to training. And I'd rather actually, my biggest thing lately has been, because I've been talking to a couple of smart, beautiful women that are fighting DCS, Child Protective Services, and all that, because there's a bunch of crap going on with them.
Don't get me started on GHS. Don't get me started on DHS.
DHS. There's so many different names for it. CPS, DSS, all this stuff. It's the same. What you're talking about, right?
That's where I got arrested.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's where I got arrested.
So, for me, I almost lost my point. Training. Right. I'd rather see an inflated budget go to training, if it's going to go anywhere. And oversight committees. There needs to be oversight. We're talking about just changing the CPS system across the country. Arizona has done it. They trashed everything, and they started over. Um, whether they're doing it right now, I don't know. But the fact is that they put in all this money and all this investigation to see what was wrong with it, and they just decided to scrap the whole thing and start over. If it could be done there, it could be done somewhere else.
You know, it's
So,
funny though. They did all that investigating. They ended up scrapping the whole thing and starting over with our money.
right,
Um, but all of the atrocities that went on prior to them scrapping are just going to be swept under the rug.
absolutely, absolutely. But this is where I say, because we had this whole panel about it, and it was, what do we do? What's messed up? We actually had some plans, right? Unlike a lot of these conversations, they go on, oh, well, this is messed up, this is messed up, and nobody has any solutions. We had some concrete solutions, and we're going to go and push it forward and put it in someone's face that's high up enough that's going to listen. And we just don't know where we're going to start yet, but we're going to start somewhere, and it's going to do something. There has to be oversight committee that involves parents and grandparents and people who are the ones that are adopting children and special needs parents and all this, right? That's the kind of committee that needs to oversight these things.
I had an idea, something that may affect that. You know, when I was coming up, you know, my first job paid $7 an hour, right? It was a starter job. Helped me get off the ground, you know, help me, you know, get a foothold. Why can't the police be that? $7 an hour. Get these kids, you know, get these kids doing something.
I don't know what starting salary is for most places for police, but I'm sure it's
But
a lot
here,
more than $7 an hour.
yeah, here's like 55 grand a year.
Wow. For a teacher, it's what, 20?
You know how many schools are abandoned here in Philadelphia? Just sitting there.
Really?
Yeah, they just. I mean, there's no care for education here. Nope, they don't give two rats
A-
behind.
Abandoned as in an empty building, or abandoned as in it's just doing what it's doing and producing crap out?
No, abandoned as an empty building.
Let's buy it and create the church of activism.
You know, I don't think we should have to buy it. You know, in all honesty,
Right.
um,
Let's
this
just
place
take it
that I'm
off.
going to teach a class at this afternoon, Impact Services, the city gave them the land that they're sitting on right now, the buildings that they use. I mean, most of one of the buildings is like, you know, uh, condemned, but I mean, you know what I mean? One of these schools that are just that we've sunk so much money into it. They are trying to sell them. They're up for lease. I'm sure you can actually look at school properties in all over Philadelphia and find like three or four of them. But I don't think we should have to buy them. I think they should give me one.
Yeah. And why can't we sign a petition saying that this building is sitting here empty, and get 1,500,000 signatures that say yes, we should do something better with this building than let it sit here abandoned.
I don't know why I didn't think of it.
We just saw in Texas, Leon Valley, a group of people. Justin Pulliam put it up there the other yesterday, I think it was, and they got a petition to redress the local government that's there, and it's doing something. It's getting somewhere. We saw people that we never saw before, and when they were interviewed, the crux of the conversation wasn't, oh, this, that, the other thing. It was police corruption. Number one was the number one factor of them signing this petition. So, and it
How many
wasn't.
signatures did they get?
I want to say it was 1,500 or so.
Damn.
1,500, 15,000. I'm not sure. There was a 15 number there. I want to say 1,500.
How long
I
did it
don't.
take them?
I don't know. That's a good question for Justin.
That's a whole lot of work.
I
I gotta
know
give them my
that
respect on that.
they've been working on things like that for. I heard a number of 2 years, for what they were working on. So nothing happens quickly.
I'm kind of hurted right now. I texted John Felix. He ain't text me back. I sent him the link. I know he's working. He said he's working with his friends, so he might. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna be too mad at him.
You're not gonna hate on him, but still, if I make a commitment, I make a commitment, right?
Right. And then Rice Krispie, I know he got it. I bet you if I called him right now, he would answer. But I sent him the link, and he's not on here. Maybe I haven't been paying attention, but I only see you and me.
How many subs does this channel have?
972.
I always feel weird when people don't show that on their page. I don't know why. It's probably no good reason, but I always go, why wouldn't they show how many? Because to me, if I see somebody has close to 1,000, that to me it gives me fuel to go, hey, this guy's close. Come on, let's kick him over the edge. Let's get him over 1,000. I don't know.
Well, I did take my somebody named Big Sexy just jumped on. I wonder who this is.
Big Sexy.
For me, it's always been, unless you got 100,000, it doesn't really matter.
Right. Oh, Big Sexy.
Ah, Big Sexy.
What do you think it was?
I thought it might have been Rice Krispie. I don't know. This is Chris Powers. I don't know if you know him. This
What's
is
up,
John
man?
Felix. He's
How
my
you
boy
doing,
from
John?
Florida. John, we were just discussing the whole financial issue with police.
Okay.
I remember your position being that they don't make enough, or they make the right
No.
amount.
I said constitutional police officers should have a financial incentive and not be capped off at, a low amount. That way they have the incentive to obey their oath.
Okay, so
Constitutional
if they obey their
Yeah.
oath, then they get some extra cash.
If they obey their oath and they're a constitutional cop, they will progressively receive pay raises until, a comfortable living standard. I know that's not really a exact metric. What is a comfortable living standard? But that's where the debate comes in. I'd say $250,000 is fair. Yeah, you said last time that was ridiculous.
I think that police should be a starter job. Police should be a I remember his dogs, dude. They're awesome.
They're not mine.
They're
I
legit.
apologize. Give me 1 second. Sorry. I apologize, brother.
I would say 250 is outrageous.
Why?
I don't need that much to live.
No.
Why should a police officer get that much?
30-year cop retires, shouldn't be able to make, if he's doing his job, he's obeying his oath, he's protecting the citizens, he's doing what a peace officer should be doing. If you cap him off at, I'm talking like police chief. I'm not saying you're a guy on the street.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I think what I thought we were talking about was the man on the street. But
I'd say you start them off at between 45 and 60 and go from there. You think that's too much, Keys?
It depends on where we are too. Geographically, it matters.
Yeah, I have to think of this from my point of view. I'm the one paying this bill. Why am I paying this guy to protect me? That much at all? I mean, especially that much. Yeah, I don't need protection. I can protect myself.
Yeah, you can't protect yourself against 30 armed gunmen, though. Let's say.
Yeah, I can. Yes, I can.
Well, you know what I mean. Now you're going with the "we don't need cops at all" thing.
Yes, he is.
Well, I don't believe that, but I know other people are more comfortable having guys like me to protect them. That's why I joined the Army. Other people are more comfortable being protected. I get that.
And I'd be more comfortable with you as a cop.
I just don't think that having people think that they're there to tell me what to do is a good idea.
No, that's not their job.
Well, that's what people are saying. I want somebody to be around to tell other people what to do.
And that's not their job.
That's not what their job's supposed to be, right? But the reality is we're talking on one side of what they're doing currently, and the other side here with Felix of what their job is supposed to be, right?
Right. Realistically,
and he wants to give them. Sorry, he wants to give them bonuses for continuing to do their job the right way. It's a hard, stressful job. You're in harm's way. I don't take away from the job itself, right? Because if they're actually out there preventing crimes and fighting crime, and that's what they're doing, like they're supposed to be, their job is to do, not give people tickets all day long and harass citizens. If they're doing what they should be doing, they should make a good living wage at it. I don't want to take away from that.
I don't think that anybody should be a cop for longer than 4 years, any more than I think a politician should be a politician for more than 4 years.
I can get behind that too. But then who's going to become cops? Where are you going to get good
all
cops?
these 21-year-olds that are going through training, the same cats that are going to basic training.
When we had this discussion last time, I said we shouldn't even be allowed to be a cop till you're 30, because what you learn from age 18 to 30 is nothing a police academy could compensate for. You need life.
He does have a point there.
There's a reason you can't rent a car till you're 25.
Exactly.
But here's my point. That's only because of society today. Because Joan of Arc was 17 when she led an army across France.
Yeah, and people died when they were 32 then. We talked about that last week.
You can join the army and fight and die for your country at 18, but you can't rent a car. Think about that.
And you can't drink either. So.
And you can't drink.
We're all agreeing. The thing is, we're all agreeing that there's no freedom right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And laws contradict each other.
Yes.
So what constitutes a crime? Let's think about that one.
It should be a victim, yes.
Or damages, or trespass.
Sure.
Well, damages and trespassing still constitute a victim.
Yeah.
There's somebody who is affected by whatever that is.
Yeah, but you have to say all those things, or else some leftist or moron, who watches TV, will say, "Well, someone could put a hole in the side of my house. There's no victim there. It's just a house." So you have to qualify everything nowadays. One last bite, man. Talk amongst yourself. I'll be right back. You can listen to me chew.
He's a real dude. I love it.
This is why I love John. He is one of them cats that will hit you with the reality bomb. But the fact is,
I'm working over here for once.
I still think that the idea of getting, for our current problem, our current incarnation of police as it stands today, cutting salaries will get rid of all of the bad apples. We can go back to it eventually, but we got to fix the problem as it is right now.
Cutting salaries will get rid of bad cops.
Yes.
How?
Because if you're a good cop, you don't want a pay cut. If you're a bad cop, you're definitely not taking the pay cut.
Oh,
if you're a really good cop, if you're there for the right reasons, like teachers are, you'll still do the job.
So cut them how far? Till they can't pay their mortgage, or what?
I shouldn't have to pay for other people's mortgages.
Yeah, but you're changing the subject. Are we paying these guys or not? Do we have cops or not?
I'm saying, cut them down to like 25, 30 grand.
To start or total? Period.
I'm talking about all cops on the street. Like, we shouldn't have a whole bunch of police chiefs. We don't need thousands and thousands of police chiefs. We don't need thousands and thousands of administrative staff. We need to cut the police force down. Huh?
A county sheriff and some constables.
That'll work.
And then you build a little trust with the citizenry, and you can call up some guys if you really need extra support. And then you and then you get rid of the divide between police and citizens. The thing is now, if a citizen protects himself, the police get offended by that.
I know.
They're asking for the link in the chat.
Oh, yeah. Hold up.
I think my issue with a lot of things Key says, and he knows this already, it's not a surprise, is a lot of the things he says are too drastic. For people to get behind, right?
You mean about the earth?
Oh no. Not even going to go there. But I just
Go
discount
on.
that completely.
I'm listening.
I mean about getting getting rid of police, cutting their pay to a point where they possibly can't live. If we started off as we're gonna cut the system down and then build it back up, then maybe we can consider making that a starter job. But do you really want, like we said, 20 to 30-year-olds that are fresh and green out there, protecting and serving? I don't think we do. I'd rather have.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I'd rather have people who want that career, want to be public servants, and let them have a good, decent wage. And if they want to make a career out of it, fine. Let them retire, and we should all be able to retire with what we're doing. And if we do it well,
Sure.
and you're committed to doing it, to retire and have a nice life at the end of our life.
Correct.
I'm not willing to pay for somebody else's retirement.
Well, if we cut out the excessive military spending, if we cut out the excess in the career politicians, then there will be a lot of money left over.
Yeah, I think we should give that money back to people.
Sure. I agree with all that.
I don't think that we should put that money into somebody who's, here's the thing. Like, I believe in service. I do. I believe in service. But I also believe in voluntary service, meaning I volunteer to pay for it. It doesn't get jacked from me. But since we live in a country where taxes help fund the way we do things, all right, I'll concede that we have to have somebody who's paid to do these things. I just don't think that I don't think that those people should be trying to make a living off of me.
You feel the same way about military? Because they're getting paid through taxes.
In all honesty, I don't think the military makes enough money as it is. But then again, I don't believe that it should be forced paid for. I don't think it should be paid for by taxes.
How should it be paid for?
I think you and I have had this. You remember the bridge conversation? It should all be privatized. If you want to pay for it.
If you privatize the military and then we don't have enough military power, what's stopping any other country from just walking in?
We do. We have more power than any country on the planet.
Currently, but I'm saying under your system of voluntary, I'm willing to give 25 cents. That guy's willing to give $5. The next guy's willing to give 15, and whatever that can buy as far as the military goes is what we're going to get. What's keeping us from being taken over by another country?
Okay, so since we're going to hypothesize, in this scenario, we don't need money. Everybody's taken care of already. Everybody's got their basic needs. And the reason they got their basic needs is because I already took care of them and set everybody free. There is no need for people to have to do this because they need to make a living. You don't need to make a living anymore. It's all voluntary. And I guarantee there's a bunch of Captain Americas in this country because we have hundreds of thousands of troops already.
This is all. Go
ahead.
This is all based on Key's philosophy of becoming president, giving everyone $250,000,
right,
and seeing what happens. So I don't have as much faith in him, faith of people that he does. I think there's going to be a good percentage of people that are going to squander that money and just end up broke again.
Hold on just a second. I got Pennsylvania. I want to just tell him to hold on a second. Hey, Pennsylvania, hold on just a second, all right?
Yep.
All right, sorry about that. Go ahead. I don't think that people are as bad as we think they are.
So when they blow through the $250,000 in a year, let's say 10% of the population blows through their $250,000 in 6 months. Now what happens?
Okay, so 10% of the population blow through their $250,000.
30 million people.
And they quit their job, right?
Well,
they got the money.
Once someone gets a $250,000, I bet you about 30% of the population will quit their job if you give them a $250,000.
Okay, so and none of them will start businesses. They're all just going to blow the money.
I said 10%. I think that's being conservative.
Well, that's a 10% of them are going to blow the money and
the
just be.
benefit of the doubt.
I'm sorry.
I'm giving 90% of the people the benefit of the doubt.
Right, so 10% of the people, I'm just making sure I get it right, that I'm not misquoting you, are going to quit their jobs, blow the money on coke and blow and whores and stuff like that, and then
No,
just be destitute.
they
Or
might buy
any,
fancy cars or rent fancy houses or buy jewelry or things that aren't worth anything. And in 6 months they're broke and say they didn't have a job to begin with.
See,
There's at least 10% of people in this country that don't work.
I'm going to respond to that right now. The people in their lives, their family members, their community will now have the ability to take care of them.
With their 250,000.
And their jobs that they didn't quit, and their businesses that they started, and the money that they brought into their community.
So you're hoping the other 90% picks up the slack of the 10 that
I'm not hoping. I'm saying I believe that's what'll happen.
I don't believe that. Not in this culture.
This is America. Come on.
This was America. This was America.
It can be again.
I mean, your benevolence and your ideas are good-hearted and well-intended. There's no doubt about that. But at least there's going to be millions of people who are going to act irresponsibly with $250,000. Even me, if you gave me $250,000, the first 50 grand is probably going to turn into a little kind of party. Even he's nodding, he knows.
Yep.
Part time, excellent.
Did you hear what you said?
Go on.
You said the first 50 grand. What are you going to do with the other, 400 or 200 grand?
When I sober up and come to, I'm gonna be like, all right, now I got 200 grand. Don't be an idiot.
Well, you're not the only one, is what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying 90% of the people might be like us and aren't dumb, completely dumb.
If 90% of the people now have financial stability,
that would be awesome. That's why I'm voting for you. But go on.
You don't think that their communities will be able to take care of that 10% that decide to do the other thing?
Not in today's culture in America. I don't think so. No.
Maybe
the church people and their close knitted group. Like for instance, I talked to JP Padilla, a Mexican Padilla. He's been in jail for months and months and months. None of us could do anything to help him, and he is in false charges. You went to jail. I mean, what can you do anymore in this country other than stay home without the risk of being locked up?
Well, if we were financial, if we all had $250,000, I guarantee there'd be a lot more we could do.
I agree. Give it to me, bro. I'll take it. You don't have to wait to be elected.
I'm trying. I do have to wait because I don't get the money until I take over the Federal Reserve. I don't get the money until I take that stuff over.
Godspeed, bro.
Well, I know that everybody thinks I'm gonna get shot. People have been saying I'm gonna get shot since I started auditing.
Right? No, that's the
issue.
The popular opinion when I've discussed keys with other people has been a few things will happen. There's potential for a few things. One being he gets to do what he wants to do. Right? That's the one plausible scenario. The other one is they get to him, they threaten him with life and limb and everything else, and he folds like a cheap suit. The other potential is they see what he's up to and they don't like it, and he goes away. He ends up shot or otherwise.
I don't think I'm gonna get shot.
I mean, what's her name? Furry Potato got shot. Any one of us can get shot. Whatever.
I don't think I'm gonna get shot.
I think the issue with this conversation, at the beginning of the conversation, is Keys is coming through it as a mindset of, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and that's how I'm going to fix things. So when we're having these conversations about the cops and what they make and all this, it's not coming from, on Key's side, a standpoint of how do we fix the system currently from where we're at now. I'm going to be president and I'm going to do this, so that's how it's going to be fixed, versus how do we bottom up versus top down.
Well,
bottom up.
bottom up, bottom up starts with everything we're already doing.
Correct, but we're not focused enough. We're not organized enough. We're not. No one. Everybody hates that word, but it is what it is. I've been warned up and down. Don't use the word organized, Chris. We're not organized people. Guess what? If we don't start getting organized, then we're going nowhere. So.
And how do we
the reason they say don't organize is because they don't want us to win.
They don't want us. They don't want us to be considered a terrorist organization. But guess what? We already are considered a terrorist organization, which is why a man in Arkansas is sitting in jail with federal charges because he went. Sorry.
We who?
Anyone who's trying to make change, that's speaking up, that's rattling the cage, that's stirring the pot.
All right.
This is proven by the man sitting in Arkansas in jail because he went to his congressman and said, I have a cop that is harassing me. How do I stop this guy from harassing me? Can you help me? And he said something to the effect of, do I have to take the law into my own hands? And do I end up having to end up killing him? Is that what's going to have to end up happening? Or are you people going to help me? And that got construed as to terroristic threatening. And he's now faced with federal charges.
Under the Patriot Act?
It's not proven that that's what it's under, but I would assume so. Yeah.
Because even under the Patriot Act, you're not even allowed to say what it's about, right?
Yeah. So the point is, they're already considering us a organized group or a threat. They're putting countermeasures to it. Yeah, they're either calling us sovereigns or they're calling us terrorists, domestic terrorists. So.
This is an attack on individuals, but then again, anybody who is pointing out the war on poverty, or not the war on poverty, but the war on poor people, is a terrorist. They're a threat to the machine, the mainstream information machine. I mean, that's why I do what I do. I mean, I am allowed to go out there and take information, as much information as I can get, and put it out there for other people. They don't want me doing that. They don't like sharing information. Just look at Snowden.
Absolutely.
You're a terrorist, John. You're a terrorist.
Yeah. I'm over here cleaning upholstery like most terrorists do on a daily basis.
Right.
Upholstery terrorist. Let me show you my assault cleaning device.
That's what's so ludicrous about all this is people trying to do good turning into terrorists. Did
you see that thing?
Yeah, it's scary.
That thing pumps out a liter an hour.
It's scary. You could take a toe off with that.
Do you understand how many people could be wetted? Aggravated wetting. According to Keith, water is not wet. Only the bottoms of lakes and ponds are wet. I gotta go back to work, bro. It's a pleasure meeting brother. You.
You too, John.
Let me share this on my channel too, if you don't mind.
Please do.
All right, see you later, guys. Bye.
Take care.
So, I've still got time. I'm not gonna hold you up too much longer, bro. Rice Krispie didn't show up. I'm gonna let Pennsyltucky chime in. You know Pennsyltucky counterterrorism?
Let's bring the face up because I may need to refresh because your video for me is down blank. Oh, but I got him. How you doing, Pennsyltucky? No audio.
Pennsyltucky, we ain't got no audio.
How's that?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna drop the video here though.
No worries.
I actually had jumped on to discuss what we were at like 20 minutes ago.
That's okay.
And that was, John Felix was talking about bonuses to officers that are doing their job correctly with a base salary, and B is where we get cops from. Either of you know about the German system of state service?
Go ahead, say it.
The one thing I don't like about the system is that it's compulsory, and that's it. It is that your first 2 years, I think it's a year or two.
Hey, Pennsylvania, we lost you again. You're breaking up with the audio,
Yep.
bro.
Yeah. Every German citizen, it has a compulsory period of state service. Now, this originally was military service, but now it's mostly things like social service that they're working like retirement homes and such like that. But a system similar to that, I don't like the compulsory bit, but so something like that in a more free manner could definitely help in finding our low level police officers and such like that. And as to what John Felix was saying about having a base salary, I can see that. I can see that working, where it's a base salary. Okay, this is what you make, and say set it at the median poverty level or something. Like you have enough money to get by. It's not necessarily to be comfortable, but enough to get by as your base salary, and then say quarterly or whatever, there's a bonus that you get up to a certain cap based on your time and grade and what have you, and that is like that would be your real salary, assuming you're doing your job correctly.
I still don't want to pay people to do the protecting thing. I may be alone in this, in all honesty. I think that our money could be better spent. I would rather give a teacher $100,000 a year than pay a cop $55,000 a year.
I 100% agree with that.
But then again, I believe it. I believe it's solving problems at the beginning, and in the beginning that I'm talking about that will solve all of these problems that require us to need police is the teachers. When these kids are coming up, whether they have good homes or not, the teachers provide a path and tools and skills to cope with the rest of the race that is your life.
I absolutely 100% agree. I had actually dropped that in the chat. The education is the basis of the economy for any government or any country or the world. If you have stupid people, then they're not productive. They're not making good decisions, and so you have poor government, and that doesn't make any damn money. And so if they're not making money,
then we have this powerful need to be taken care of.
Yep. If our citizens are stupid and they can't take care of themselves, then that automatically puts power into the position of the people who are doing the taking care of.
See, Keys, when you have this faith that people will take care of each other, I think I have faith that there's less people on that side of the coin that you guys are talking about that would rather be taken care of than earn a living wage and fend for themselves in a better manner. The people that just need to step up, not a hand out, but a hand up. I think there's a lot more of those people that will rise to the occasion if given the opportunity, rather than there's a lot of people that want to sit on their ass and take from the system. That's the faith I have. So when I get labeled, a liberal kind of guy or, blah, 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 it's that's where it comes from. Is I have faith that people, if given the opportunity, will do the right thing for themselves, for their family.
Big problem I see here in Philadelphia, the biggest problem I see here in Philadelphia is that people don't believe that there are any opportunities.
Right. So does that mean there's a bunch of people trying to live off the system, or they can't find? Well,
it's a way of life here.
But is that by choice? Or you just said it yourself, they don't.
No. They've been tricked. They've been duped. They've had first of all, their education has been screwed up. Like their education system has been all jacked up. So if you can't read, there you go. Your biggest hurdle right there. These people this is considered a first-class city. There's a whole bunch of people here, and so the elected officials took the tact of what's the word I'm looking for? Forced dependence. The police are here to be babysitters. The welfare system is here to make sure that you have enough money to put food in your belly. The Section 8 system here is crazy. They make more money than private owners. They want you to get pregnant. They want you to have a bunch of kids, and they want you to live off of welfare for your entire life.
Why would they want that?
Well, because as long as you're voting for the right people and you're content, you may not realize that you're being used.
But don't we all agree that the root of all evil is, for the most part, money?
I think the root of all evil is devil, but that's just me.
But I mean, in this general conversation of politics, police, and all this, like prison systems, it's a very general statement to make, but it is generally correct that the issue with most things is money. We wouldn't have so many people in prison if it wasn't a money making thing.
I used to think that. I used to think that I did, but I came to the conclusion that that can't be true because money, like guns, doesn't have a conscience or free will. It's a tool.
All right. Well, then that just means it's the greed. I think that's semantics. I think it's the greed of people for money is the issue, right? That's what I'm trying to get to. Is the issue is greed, right? So if these politicians, you say, are wanting to keep people, as long as they vote for them, keep people pregnant and working off the system, well, that would equate to less money for them. Less money in their district, less money in their that they're able to put in deep pockets someplace, and
that's because you're under the assumption that these people are the people that are paying the taxes. This is not the case. The taxes are coming from federal grants, federal infusion. This city is run off of the rest of the country.
Okay, so the more people they have in that situation, the more money's coming in.
Exactly. And the fact is that the people who do work here pay more city taxes than any other place on the planet.
Where's that going, right? So when we talk about people being auditors, right, that's what we really need is auditors. Yeah. We need people to audit from top to bottom. And you've said this, Keys, to the government. Who audits the IRS? Who audits the government themselves? Who orders the people in charge of the taxes? No one that I know.
Well, that's my point of view in a nutshell. Like, we, the people, have the power. It goes like this. It goes the people, and it goes the government. And that I mean, it's not the other way around.
Supposed to be.
And so we have every right to march in. Like, I got stopped at the IRS building down the way. We have every right to march into that building as concerned citizens and find out where our money's going. But they won't let you. And
how did that go? I was going to say, how did that go?
Well, no, there's an illegal judicial order that the FPS is supporting as law. Now, that's something that I can take to the Supreme Court, which I intend to.
What's FPS? Sorry.
They're the Federal Protective Services.
Oh, the kid people.
Yeah.
Yeah. The CPS, the DSS, the FPS,
yeah. Well, no, the FPS is part of Homeland Security. They're not a part of the CPS.
Okay.
But they do enforce judicial order. I never understood the idea that judicial order somehow overrides law. I don't get that. It doesn't make sense to me.
Because it shouldn't, from my understanding.
Well, and if you get to the Supreme Court, I'm sure that they'll agree with you. The problem is getting to the Supreme Court. But I intend to. But I've got so much that I got to do. I mean, and just so I put this on the record, it's Chris Power's fault. I'm gonna be out in the neighborhood. I'm gonna be looking at churches. I'm gonna be going out to any local organizations. I'm gonna be going and talking to people on the streets and recruiting people to pick up their cameras. And it's all his fault. I just want to point that out.
and sign signatures.
And educating them. Yes. And if you have a goal in mind, put it on a piece of paper, get them to sign the damn thing.
Exactly. I'm gonna get all kinds of footage of me getting signatures on, and my goal is simple, end police corruption. I think will be the main thing. But what law am I going after? I gotta actually. Well, I mean,
I think going after who's in charge of the police right now in your city.
We just fired what's his name, and we got a new guy. What's his name? Hold up, now you got me thinking. We just fired a guy because he was sexually harassing people, and we got a new guy.
Devil Dog Media. When the economy goes to crap, that's exactly when the bankers start wars. Yeah, I'm not going to deny that. Keeps you in debt. Look at the game of Monopoly. Someone always wins. 1% loses. Everyone else. 1% is the winner, and everybody else is the loser. Yep. As George Carlin says, it's a big club, and you're not in it.
Well, we're in a bigger club. It's called the American Club. American Citizen Club.
If we could work together.
Yes. You're gonna have to work on that because I haven't figured that one out yet. I don't know how to get us all.
John started to ask the question when I was talking about it. How do we be organized? How do we work together? How do we do this? And people, like I said, hate the word organization, or the word organized. But you know what? Come get me. I'm right here. Right. I am doing those things. I am connecting the dots to different people. I am putting people who are fighting CPS in Michigan to people who are fighting CPS in South Carolina. This is how we're going to win. We're going to connect the people who need to be connected, and we're going to support them in doing what they want, that they're trying to accomplish. To me, that's the answer.
Okay, Christine Coulter is interim. Richard Ross was fired. Okay, the police chief.
Police chief, okay. First question I have is, does either of those people do a good job? Do they hold bad police accountable? I'm sure I know the answer, but.
So I guess that my first mission is to get an interview with this person.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm doing next. I did my class this afternoon. I'm going to a veterans homeless shelter this afternoon to teach a class. And I remember you telling me earlier about homeless veterans. I got 50 of them.
Good. Well, we need to have that conversation before we could finish that conversation, but
yeah.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think an interview with that person would be great, and say, hey, would you like to be the poster child for what a police chief should do, and show the rest of the country how it's done.
Maybe get his opinion on the video of me getting beat down out in front of DHS.
If he's willing to, absolutely.
Probably not, but I'll look. I gotta ask.
Benefit of the doubt, man. Let's assume people are decent human beings first. How about that?
You know what? I'm gonna do that because I like that. I like that point of view. I like that theory. I like that. I'm gonna do that.
Put it this way. I've been watching the guys for a while who are out there and F the police and blah 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 blah, and that's not working. So it can't hurt to be nice first. I've gotten a lot of public records. I've gotten a lot of flies with the honey I'm putting out there versus what I see people doing and calling and cursing people and trying to get people out of jail or whatnot or make a stink. I feel like I'm getting somewhere with my honey versus the vinegar they're spewing. So
I am going to say that Wolfie Gladney would probably wholeheartedly agree with you. I do only because I'm forced to, based on experience. I've gone both ways.
It's a whole different thing. If they're coming at you hard right off the bat, then hey, they get what they give, right? I have no problem with that.
I call myself a mirror. I'm going to treat you the way you treat me. I was raised to treat people the way I want to be treated, and I do for the most part. But when it comes to these officials, man, I treat them the way they treat me.
Yep.
I'm gonna stop doing that though. I'm going to be nice because I'm a bigger man. I'm a better man.
Well,
I'm trying to be.
and just like anything else, at least for me, in my personal life, in my business, if I want something from you, I'm gonna be nice. I'm asking you for something.
That's true.
If you're gonna be a jerk about it, and not you, but if the person is going to be a jerk about it and not want to give it to me, well, then I'm going to do everything I can to document that, and I'm going to go above their head. That's my plan.
And I have to have more patience. I thought I was a patient guy, but you have shown me how impatient I have been recently. Not you, well, not just you. A lot of people
A
have
lot
been
of people.
showing me
Yeah.
how impatient I've been recently. Patience is key. I can be patient. I can wait. I'm gonna wait another 4 years to fix the problem I could have fixed this time, but I can wait. I can deal with this. And that's me. I'm trying to inspire people to be like me. I'm not trying to get them to do the things I do because some of the things I do are crazy. But I am trying to inspire people to live their own life, be strong, and my back is killing me. I'm sorry, my neck is killing me. Be able to take a hit and keep coming.
Be village,
That's the only way we're gonna live.
be vigilant and don't give up.
Yeah, yeah. We can't. Not if we believe in America. Not if we like America. Not if we want. Hey,
And
Chris, I really. Oh,
yeah,
wait.
man. No,
No,
that's
good.
fine.
I was
I
just gonna
honestly,
say.
I honestly don't like America. I don't. I'm not a patriot. I'm not someone that blindly supports the military. But and I have a lot of different opinions than a lot of people in this community. I'm not a big Second Amendment person and all this, but I do believe that the rights are being violated on all the things I just talked about. I do believe that veterans should get the 3 months that they get into making a soldier. They should get 3 months and the resources that were spent to make that soldier. They should have those same resources to be brought back because it is hurting our pocketbooks. It is hurting our society, and it is hurting the individual who took the time and energy and from their life to serve this country. And there's so many reasons for that to be done. It's not just for the man that went out there, a woman that went out there to fight for the country. It's not about nationalism. It's not about the good old USA. It's about this society, the people on the streets walking next to you and I that have been given this license to kill have not been brought back down to reality to be put back in the streets next to you and I. It's a dangerous situation, if you ask me. You just muted yourselves, Keys. You muted yourself. Okay. Pencil Tucker, you there? I'm all alone now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Actually, what you were just saying there reminded me of something. Anybody who's read the book Starship Troopers would know this idea. Not the movie, because the movie was crap, but the book.
I didn't read the book, but go ahead.
Read it. It's worth it. Almost anything Heinlein is worth it. But one of the concepts they had was that in order to have political power, to have a political position, to be a senator or the president or what have you, you first had to have a period of service to the state. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that, wasn't like, you're proving you're willing to die or something like that. It's because by doing that first, you've proven that you've taken responsibility. It doesn't say that you're smarter or better or anything else, but you've taken responsibility for society as a whole.
Right.
As a lot of soldiers would say when it comes to doing something, I've said it when somebody asks me why I do what I do. And I say, well, if not me, then who? Somebody has to take responsibility for it. Somebody has to do it. And I have the ability to do it. So I'm going to.
Exactly.
Sorry, guys. I was having technical difficulties. Chris, I think I should point out that Pencil Tucky on my crew is probably he could not be on the opposite any further on the opposite side of the spectrum from me. I mean, he does not believe in this. He believes in multiple gods. I only believe in one. He is Pennsylvania. Tell him about your stance on well, any one of the things we disagree on. Like he's are you a libertarian or liberal? I don't even really
Well,
know.
I would say on the political spectrum for in American politics that I'm closest to libertarian, but in all reality, I consider myself an anarchist. And in fact, Keys, from a lot of what you say, if you just remove the word, because you say a lot that nobody has a right to tell you what to do, right? Except for God. All right. If you remove except for God from that, that's an anarchist. Nobody has the right to tell me what to do but me and my moral compass. Now, I am I call it a rational anarchist in that I understand that that doesn't really necessarily work in our current societal problem rather than a political one. So I don't think we're ready. Our society is ready for that, especially considering what actually one of the points John Felix made. He said like 10% are just going to blow the money, and I will readily agree with that. If you look back at right after Katrina, when we put all the the government put FEMA, whatever, you put all those people in trailers and such. After a few years, everybody was going, "Oh, there's mold and there's this and that." What it really was is that there's a solid 10-20% who are immediately going to get off their ass and do anything they can do to better their situation and move on. And there's a solid 10% that are just going to take what they're given, and that's it. And in fact, a lot of the people who were at the end were still in those trailers had to be physically removed from them because
do you not remember what
they had
FEMA
it.
was supposed to be about? They weren't
Hmm?
supposed to give them trailers.
Oh, I know.
That fund was set up to replace what was taken during the tragedy.
Yeah.
And they replaced their $100,000 homes with $20,000 trailers.
Well, that was intended to be a temporary situation. Repairs have to be made.
It was temporary until they got all the money in their own pockets, and then it was more permanent.
Yeah, I'm not saying there wasn't government malfeasance there or on any level.
But what I'm saying is that your assertion is that, in John Felix's assertion is that 10%. I think that's being overzealous, but that's just my personal opinion. 10% of the people are just gonna blow it. My point is, at that point, why should I, a taxpayer, have to care? I
no, I
believe
agree with you.
that they're going to be people that they are around that live near them in their community. They're going to see that they messed up and that they need help. And I know this is because back in the day when nobody had anything, they used to build churches, and these churches did that very thing. They found the people that were needing help, that were had messed their whole life, fucked their whole life off, and they helped them. That's human nature, believe it or not.
No, I agree with you on that point. And on the taxpayer point, I agree as well. If we've handed them somebody $250,000 and, as you put it, blow it on hookers and blow or whatever, then fuck them. Taxpayer, we've already given you your huge step up. You've already paid off all your debt. You should have been able to pay off, or at least greatly paid off your home and your car and everything else.
That's what I've done. I've defined it. That sounded really intelligent. I've defined it. I've defined what Chris said earlier about a hand up, not a hand out. That's what I've defined.
Now, Keys, maybe you've changed your stance on this, but the last time we talked about this campaign idea, you also brought that basic human needs were going to be met under your administration. Food, shelter, and such was going to be a need that is met
Now, here's the thing. Uh, I'm not using my position or authority as president to meet those needs. I'm using my cut, my $250,000, to get a plan, a business that I've been working on for several years off the ground. I'm hoping somebody else with more heart, money, and resources will come in after I get it built and make it successful and take over for me. I'm hoping like a whole group of people will do that for me. But my plan is to build a company, a private company that makes money. That's their whole business, their whole, like any other private company, is to make up money. Now, this particular company happens to be an industry that's worth about $280 billion. So if I can get into this industry, which I'm pretty sure I can do, uh, especially after becoming president, I can use the funds, the profits from that business to fund a not for profit or nonprofit organization, a school, essentially. And this school is going to be like Hogwarts. People are going to go live there and they're going to learn everything they didn't get at home, that they didn't get in public school. It's going to be like a boarding school. You know, rich kids get the best education, especially rich delinquents. Get the best education possible. So that's the plan. That's the idea. I believe that if you provide a new world for people, the underprivileged, you provide them with a school that not only nourishes their bodies, takes care of them mentally, and gives them an education, possibly hires them on or gets them jobs at graduation, stuff like that. Did I get that? Did I make that clear?
I got where you're going with that. Um, Actually, one of the things I had thought of, you could possibly consider adding to your platform there is you know what the TVA is? Tennessee Valley Authority was. There's a really great PBS documentary about it. If you haven't read it, watch it. You should. Um, but basically is I feel like we need a new version of that, but not just like in one specific area, but everywhere. You know, a lot of our industry, a lot of our housing is all legacy stuff. It's all stuff that needs to be replaced sooner or later because it's inefficient, because it's old and breaking down, or spend tons of money to maintain that. So I think we could boost not only our lowest class and monetary wise citizens, but also our economy as a whole by uh, doing that as a government project, or at least as a nonprofit project.
Well, I mean, my idea might play into that. I'm thinking like, Hogwarts on, or not Hogwarts, Job Corps on steroids.
Yeah, I like that. It's actually what you're describing is pretty much exactly a boarding school, and it's that having that available to
Well,
lower
the
economic
best thing
status is
about this is
great.
it's replicatable. I mean, I've designed it to
Yep.
sustain 100,000 people, and it can be replicatable throughout every state. And it doesn't have to be funded by taxes. It can be funded privately.
Why not do that now?
I can't convince anybody else besides myself to give up that kind of money. I mean, $36,000 or $36 million a year project, and that's just for like one state.
How much did you say it costs for a person to run for president?
Well, I mean,
70.
Donald Trump did it in 66 million.
Right. So the conservative number is 50, 60 million, right?
Yeah,
And how many people are currently running for Democratic seat for president?
a bunch.
Like
Right.
20.
They're spending all kind of money.
Right, right. So I think you're knocking on the wrong doors, Keith. There has to be a door out there that likes this idea, is what I'm trying to say.
You're probably right. I am not. I got to do some market research. Yeah, that takes targeted marketing, and I have been so busy that I just haven't done the work. In all honesty, you keep bringing me more work, Chris.
Yep, that's what I do.
You know what a lot of our problem is, though, is I think one of our problems is actually term limits, and that I'm not saying term limits are a bad thing. They're definitely a good thing. So that it reduces corruption, but when you have a term limit and you're not looking past the next election, it's hard to look at something to do a project that is unpopular but necessary and won't pay off for a while.
Well,
Take
as
for
far as the
instance,
presidential campaign goes, I only have one thing to accomplish in 4 years. And once I've accomplished that, I can get out scot free and wash my hands of it. Once I accomplish that goal, all the other goals that I have in place, all the other things that I want to do will fall like dominoes.
well, the thing the example I was going to make is asteroids. Like, we know one's going to hit the planet eventually, and so we should have some kind of system in place to make sure we aren't annihilated. But nobody's spending our money on it. Why?
Actually,
Because that's eventually.
NASA's supposed to fix. We put all. You know how much money we spend on NASA every year?
Almost nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what you think. In all honesty.
Do you know what Skywatch is?
Real quick. Skywatch?
Yeah.
It's a military satellite.
Now, Skywatch is I think it's an NGO actually. But what they do is they pay people basically minimum wage to look through telescopes and see if something is cut and catalog what's in our solar system, asteroids, comets, etc., whether or not it's going to hit the planet. And their budget is, I think, something like $3 million a year, which means they can look at, I think, 2% of the sky for 3 hours a day, 100 days a year. Think that's sufficient? Make sure that we as a race are not annihilated.
Yo, for half of that, I can find a way to. I'm
sharing my screen. There you go.
For half of that, I can find a way to fund that with half as many people and get twice the work done.
Then maybe you can. I mean, the people they got now make a little more than minimum wage, so it's.
Are you looking at your screen, bro?
I am looking at it. I can't read that though.
21 billion. That's what NASA
that's a good
gets.
chunk of money. But...
That's what NASA gets.
Yep.
And how much did we spend on the military?
Oh, way more than that. We spent way more than that.
Just saying.
By 4 orders of magnitude.
It's 800 billion, isn't it not?
Yeah.
I think military is in trillions, isn't it?
No. The deficit is in trillions.
Yeah, that is.
So.
Yo, all I'm saying is that, like, if you want to waste money, go ahead. My point is simple. We don't need to.
Well, why can't we do that without why can't we start on that without Keyes being president, without giving everybody 250? And what's stopping us from?
Well, there's nothing that says we can't. You know what I mean? We have been trying outside of my way for a very long time. A lot of people have. The problem is, I guess this is where I get impatient and where I feel I should have to be patient, because we've been waiting so long. If we do it my way, it happens quickly. It happens in less than 4 years. If we don't do it if we continue to do it the other way, it takes years. It takes a long time. And it's already done taking like 120 years so far. And it's going to keep, they're just going to keep dragging it out. Tyranny of bureaucracy.
So
get any better.
Focus is the key.
Yes.
What we don't have any statistics and data on what has been tried, because the people who are trying to do these things are the ones that are unpopular and don't get media coverage and yada yada. So doing something.
Who does get all that for free?
The president. Right. Oh no, I believe me. I don't have. I told you I would be your campaign manager as long as you're willing to say a vote for me is a vote for none of the above.
I absolutely.
Done.
We've been on for about an hour, cats. I got a couple hours before I got to get ready for this class. I need to
Yeah.
shave. I need to get cleaned up. But I
Did,
appreciate you
ditto.
joining me. This was a great conversation. John Felix, my man, I absolutely adore the guy. He's so funny. He makes me laugh all the time. And he doesn't agree. That's one of the things, Chris. You probably know this about me already, but like, you don't have to agree with me for us to work
Correct.
together or even have a conversation.
Which is why
Most of
we're
the people,
which is why we're
mo-
friends.
most of
Absolutely.
the people I hang around, most people I surround myself with, don't see things the way I do. Look at Pencil Tuggy.
If everyone I knew agreed with me, that would be so boring. It would be
Yes.
completely
Definitely.
boring. Yeah.
So thank you guys for coming. It's
Thank
been
you.
great. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. UNN. This is where I'm gonna be posting all the new stuff. Everybody put the word out. Love, peace, and chicken grease. I'm out.
See you guys. Nice to meet you,
Yeah.
Penstucky.
Nice to meet you, Chris.
All right. Take care.